Hello, it's Dan here. Do you know when you're in school? I don't know if you ever heard anyone trying to explain you what a class, what an object is. So I'm using that example. I created a project called car and I'll using TDD and Java. TDD is task-driven development. It's very basically you start writing tasks, then you satisfy it writing your code. We will see it. So what I want to do here is you have a car, you open a door, you turn on the car, you turn off the car, and I want to ride it, but I want to do it right in the task first and show you how TDD works. Um, First of all, let's create the car test class, car test. This was asking me to add to Git repository. Um, let's start creating a before each method. And let's just create a setup method. And oops, I don't have a car, but let me just do this like this. I'll create it up here just so it's accessible to everyone, every method down there. So it already started, right? We don't have a car. How can we instantiate a car if we don't have the class, right? We don't. And if you guys are not familiar with OOP, object-oriented programming, um, we have a class, which is basically just the specification of an object. And we have an object that is something that can be instantiated, and this is one instance of that class. Um, so this car, for example, could be a Honda Civic. It could be BMW X1, but they are all cars, right? So class car and an object. And you could see lots of other stuff here. For example, we could have um, arguments here saying the model is BMW, the brand is BMW, the maker is BMW, and the model is X1. And we could have other stuff here, but then we could have encapsulation. And that's something we might want to talk about later, but right now I want to focus that we don't have this class and the task is complaining. So what we do is we just create a class. I'm using my ID to do that for me. Just as simple as that. Add to the repository so it stops complaining about that. And all of a sudden it's green. And that's the very minimum we need to fix this. But now we don't have a task case yet, so we cannot run this. Let's write a task case here, turn on. Um, let's do, so let me import this and also let me put a name. Let's say that should turn the car on. Um, okay, let me say that I wanna turn on. And again, now back to OOP. This car has methods, right? In this case, it doesn't have this method turn on. And that's why it's red. And let me just continue here and assert true something. Um, I want to import this from here. Something else I want to do, I just want to change this because if I want to use assert false or assert equals or assert anything, it will work. And I want to say that car dot um, um, get state is running. Um, um, should return true because I turned the car on. Now I don't have two methods. Again, let's just stop this here, create a method. And because it's void, this is already fixed. Um, Now, and this, let's stop this here. And this is with respect to get a Boolean value returned. So green as well. We can run this, but you see, this will return false, and this is expecting true. This will obviously not return successfully. Will fail. All right. So I was expecting true. It got false. So let's first program the turn on functionality. Um, let's create a private boolean is running. Um, let's go to let's change the is running to true, and here it can return the is running variable, right? This is the functionality that I want to build here. The car was off because when we declare a variable like this, a Boolean variable, it will start with a false value. So it's on now and it's running. Um, because we created is running, we can also create, we should have created a task for that. So here, let me show you how using IntelliJ you can create tasks there. And it's saying we'll try to create the whole thing again, but if you click here and click there, it will say this task already exists, this class already exists. So you just it will just update the existing class, so it will create it for you. Um, Either way, you can just click and ask him to either to create the task or to create the method on the other side. So it's a little bit simpler for you. You don't need to type all that stuff, right? So what I want to assert here is assert false because, as I said, when you get a new, let me show you here. When we get before each task case, turn on, turn off, is running or not, you get a new instance of car. And as I said before, every new instance will get a false value from this until we run the turn on. Okay, and I wanted to assert that should display name should return. Um, that's not say should return false. Um, check if car is running. And this one we don't need to have this, but should return false. Okay. Now I have turn on. Let's see what this is talking. It's search fail should return true. Debug yes. I don't know what this is talking about here. Is running. Well, let me just run the whole thing and make sure that everything is fine. Um, cool. Everything's passing. Um, and now the last thing we want to do is to turn off the car. Let's do display name turn off the car. Let's do void turn off and then assert false after the car is turn off. Assert false and then car get the method is running. Okay, what is this? Should return false. You see, it's very simple, and honestly, you need to write tasks anyway. So you're writing beforehand. It makes everything very um, easy to understand, at least to me. So turn off will set this is running to false. There's one thing with this code, right? New cars, they only have a button. So what it really does is just a toggle. Um, but that would change. Imagine that's the nice thing about it. Imagine you had a car like this. You had a system of a car that was using this old traditional way where you turn your key to one side to turn on, turn your key to the other side to turn off. It's so different mechanism, right? But now you just press a button. You press the button again to turn it off. So the system needs to understand if it's on or not to do it. So it's let's do a test. This oh, display name. I don't know why I'm doing this here because we want to do it really quick. So let's do a toggle car on and off. Void toggle on and off. So assert. So we want to assert the car is the opposite of what it was before. Okay. So it was the car. We know this task is we start with off, right? So first thing, I don't want to. Nah, I don't want to test if it's false at first because it will be. We can just go here and get car before I do this. Car dot toggle and assert true car dot is running. I don't want to type any other stuff here. So car dot toggle again. Um, I need to assert the car. Assert false. Car is running. Right? As simple as that. So we go back to toggle and we create a method toggle. And then the fact is running what is running will be exactly the opposite of is running, right? Um, eh, we don't need to do this, but let's do it anyway. Um, so this is what it does. If we run this again, all good there. Let's run the whole thing here. All good. Toggle, turn off, turn on, and check if it's running. Cool. Now is running should return false. Cool. Yep. Toggle works. If you see anything else that I could have possibly missed, you let me know. If you want to continue this, and maybe we can do like I don't know, we could do a progressive tax rate, something that would go in an interview, or we could do like a shopping cart. We could do something more realistic, or we could even continue with this and implement some other classes and maybe go through more complex steps like speed up. It's not complex at all, actually. Um, but we just created three methods, and honestly, I did not notice because you're testing it, it works. You can change things like you can create a toggle, and that's it. Oh, by the way, we have a toggle here. Yeah, I don't even need to do that. You have toggle, you turn on, you turn off. We could go down here and turn it on and check it again, but no, just to mix things up and try to break it. Um, but yeah, if you wanna me to go back a little bit and talk a little bit about Java itself, about object-oriented programming, you let me know. I can go back and explain a little bit about classes, objects, polymorphism, and encapsulation. We can talk about many other stuff here. See you later.